I think it's time we talked about a third-party release that arrived on the Super Nintendo, which didn't make its name because of the Super Nintendo. We've had ports for many of the years through the system. This one is no different, but this one was a game changer. It made people look up and really take a look at the technology that exists in the hardware and want to do more. Another World, to go for the UK title, is a game that has to be experienced. And I can really say this with pride. And I do say it with pride, particularly working on the Zap Amiga magazine as well. This is a game which in 1992 made everyone sit up and just go, my 16-bit machine can do this? And it's true. You have to remember, we are 3 years away from the 3D 32-bit era. You know, the likes of the PlayStation and the Saturn are not known yet. They're in development, sure, but these are so quiet and so discreet. Even the conversations being had around Philips and Nintendo were still being made public. It was a new world of potential for the future. So to see a game like this arrive on a 16-bit system was eye-opening. No one thought this was capable. And from the moment you put in that cartridge and the first thing you witness is a loading screen, you know something is very different. And then the animated intro commences. So the plot. Well, you play as Lester. He's an everyday man. He's around to work at his underground laboratory. Yeah, you can see he's got a fairly decent job. He's well enough to pay for a Ferrari that he's driving through in a heavy thunderstorm and proceeding with the experiment using a prototype particle accelerator. Now, from our understanding, we're trying to break the barriers of knowledge and understanding how the Big Bang came to be. This is what it says in the instructions. But of course, before the experiment could be completed, we witness a lightning strike. The lab is ripped apart, ripping Lester through space, time, and from this dimension into a barren, unknown world. And so here, we have to try and find our way back. And so the title of Another World continues. Now, before we start our adventure, a word of warning. For anyone who's played this game before, you'll know it full well. For anyone who's seen the game in clips, maybe. But the word of warning is you are going to die a lot. This isn't a Dark Souls die. This is a continuing, unrelenting death system. I like to put this one on par with Dragon's Lair in terms of its unforgiving nature. It is really set up with a one-shot kill system. When you work out the pattern, it becomes a cinematic piece of beauty from start to finish. It's a piece of entertainment. You can press your friends and you can showcase the system it's on without a shadow of a doubt. It's a marvellous game, and one that follows that process later on with Flashback, which we will touch on in later issues. So, give a rough guide of what happened in my first 10 minutes. We teleport to the pool, kill by a creature, reset the game. I teleported to the pool, swim up, climb out the pool, walk right, killed again. So this time, slugs fall from ceiling. This time, learning. I'm teleporting from the pool. I swim up, climb out the pool before the tentacles get me. I'm walking right again, taking this time movements and carefully kick to get rid of those slugs. Continue right. Then we see the beast. Run. Right. I run left. I run left past the pool. Cliff. Dead. Reset the game again. Teleport at the pool. Swim up. Walk out the pool. Climb right. Time movements. Kick slugs again. Continue right. Right, run. We're running left. Run left past the pool. Cliff. Right. This time we're jumping onto the vine. The vine break swinging me to the right. Run right. And then someone shoots the beast. And me. You see, Another World is a series of learning curves. It is unforgiving, but each of these quick time events, and that's the best way to describe them, teach you about the reaction. You need to memorize the situations to survive. It is frustrating. I can't say that enough. But bear with it. Let the story unwind. Take note of what you need to do in each step. And I know it is frustrating for half an hour as you gradually crawling your way through that section. There are checkpoints. And you are going to find, as you gradually play through this, a charming tale of an unknown hero standing against the odds and making a pivotal distance in a war with an alien race, helping unknown friends where he didn't belong. The game from start to finish, when played through, is a non-stop action adventure that may only take 30 minutes, but it's an impactful 30 minutes that you can't get anywhere else. And I still haven't mentioned the graphics yet through all this, which for a time were incredible. The game wasn't the first to play with vector art. We can thank Elite for that, and later shaded in titles later on. But it was the first to fully utilise them in a way to tell a cinematic tale in a platformer. Something I suspect a lot of people were hoping cinemas were going to hit with one of their future releases, but alas never came to be. With the game coming from, it was an unknown French company at the time, Delphine Software, the art style felt more of an evolution. Yeah, it's more of an evolution from Cinema's offerings. It had that touch of magic that seemed to be embodied by Sierra and LucasArts at the time, and it was in good measure. It never felt dull during any point. Every screen oozes a sheer amount of effort that was put into making us believe these locations existed. There was care taken into crafting not just the world, not just the pool, the cliff tops, but the alien planet as a whole, the cells, the corridors, the armed guards. There's so much I could talk about. And to see this all in place, and even the animation of some of this stuff holds up incredibly well today. Is it no wonder that only a couple of years back we had a re-release for an anniversary edition, outside a minimal couple of cosmetic changes, the game feels the same. It looks just as compelling, which showcases how much of a difference was made back then. And yet, just like Donkey Kong Country afterwards, it's incredible to think how the designers were able to compress just so much data without compromising on the absurd quality of the title. It's just such a shame that only a small batch of these games ever really utilised this style, linking platforming and puzzles with artistic beauty. It's something that the Snes got mid to late cycle with these brethren of titles that you wish we had so much more. Alas, the 32-bit era was running in at this point, long year after. The demise was inevitable. For a negative, without faulting, I can't fault music, I can't fault animation, I can't fault the gameplay. I suppose the only real downside to the game is once you learn the route that gets you from start to finish, the perfect cinematic route, the game really sort of lasts between half an hour to an hour start to finish if you time it right. And yet it's one of the best hours I'll spend of 16-bit gaming, period. And that is not a small statement to make. It's a defined classic, even on release. It's a loved classic, even now. And the era of its beauty is unsurpassed. To summarise this game, and this is why I truly find remarkable, this game can still be found on the retro market at a reasonable price. And its sequel Flashback. So if you're after an original copy of the game to experience on original hardware, especially for a classic, it's insanely good value. Going through this review, I can't really say as much of my feelings as I want to, but suffice to say, to summarise it, we're a simple 5 out of 5. This is a must-have in any collection. And it's worth revisiting both this, Flashback, and in truth, if you are a fan of this particular type of genre, look back at some of Cinemaware's finest alongside, as well as LucasArts and Sierra. But as an adventure in itself, undeniably, it's beautiful. No other words I can ever say could ever change that. Everyone should own it. Everyone should experience this. For the latest news, reviews, retro footage, retro reviews, and everything else in between. Until then, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.